friends, and welcome back to She's in Her Apron. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my top essentials to have on hand in my refrigerator, freezer, and pantry to prepare for any meal. Alright, let's see what we got going on in here. Yes, I'm gonna take you into the nitty-gritty, dirty refrigerator and freezer and pantry and just share with you my top essentials that I always have on hand to prepare for any meal. I thought this would be fun, and then in the comments I would love to hear from you guys. What are your top essentials? And this will be different for everybody, especially since we have viewers from all over the world. So it'll be really cool to see what your top essentials are. We're gonna start with the refrigerator. Let's jump right into this. My number one condiment is ketchup. Now this is a huge debate for some people. Ketchup on eggs or no ketchup on eggs? Leave down below, I would love to know. Coconut aminos or soy sauce. So either one, gotta have it, is Worcestershire sauce. Now this will make your meatloaf taste a whole lot better. This makes your sloppy joes out of this world. I use this in our Salisbury steak. Also, I put this in my shrimp dip. Those type of sauces on hand when I start to do my stir fries, or if I want to hurry and make a batch of fried rice. Those things are the things that I love to have. And when I do my bulk freezer meals, okay, other condiments like salad dressings, yes, we always have ranch. I am a huge Lighthouse homestyle ranch. We also have Hidden Valley Ranch. All right, this is Derek's favorite. It's from BYU Creamery. He loves this stuff. And you can actually buy it at a bookstore here in Utah, Deseret Book. So this is his favorite. It was my favorite until I got my hands on the Lighthouse homestyle ranch. So ranch is a go-to in our home. Also, in the refrigerator or in our pantry, I always have Italian dressing. This is the Olive Garden signature Italian, but this is so good to marinate your beef in, your chicken in, barbecue it up. Pour this over some chicken, put it in your slow cooker. If you want to make Italian, creamy Italian slow cooker chicken, which I absolutely love. If you don't have a seasoning packet like the Zesty, use some Italian dressing. It's so good. All right, something we always have in the refrigerator is barbecue sauce. Always, always. There's always one open or more on deck in our food storage room. Barbecue sauce we use all the time for barbecue sandwiches, in slow cooker dishes. This is a must. This will make any recipe just come alive. Now, I did share with you recently in a slow cooker freezer meal video, the barbecue chicken street tacos. Delicious. Put some chicken in your slow cooker with barbecue sauce, and then chop up some red onion, throw it in there, a can of black beans, cook it all together, have it in a street taco. Here's another barbecue sauce. This one's a good one. This is the G Huge sugar-free barbecue sauce in hickory. So good. Oh look, more barbecue sauce. We have a lot of barbecue things on the menu this week. I'm not worried about it. Dump some chicken breasts in your slow cooker, pour the barbecue sauce on, just let it cook. You've got pulled chicken barbecue sandwiches for dinner. Put it on a salad. I love going and getting the country thyme ribs, throwing those in my slow cooker with my favorite seasonings. I'll be sharing you that as well, all my favorite seasonings. And then I pour some barbecue sauce on top. Let that go all day in the slow cooker. Delicious. And of course, mayo and Miracle Whip. We just went through our last jar of Miracle Whip. but there's still some more on my food room shelf. Love Miracle Whip in sandwiches. Actually, in my tuna fish, I think it's better than mayo. And mayo. I always have mayo on hand. We go through a lot of this during certain seasons. So I use this in our coleslaw, and we eat coleslaw with our Moab tacos, barbecue beef sandwiches, pulled pork sandwiches. I also use mayonnaise in my deviled eggs, so I have to have mayonnaise always ready to go on hand. This is great to add into different sauces, so you always want to be prepared to have mayonnaise. I have a lot of things going on in here. I have cottage cheese. I have this one and another one in there. My daughter loves cottage cheese. She has it with fruit. That's why we always keep, as another essential in our refrigerator, are strawberries and blueberries for the cottage cheese. No joke. I also like eating strawberries and blueberries in the morning, so I will always have a handful of these on hand with cottage cheese. Now, if you want this to last longer, Store it upside down. It'll keep the air from making it moldy. It's fantastic. And then when you go to use it, boom, flip it over. Same, you can do the same with your sour cream. Always have sour cream on hand. I love it in taco soup. We put a little dollop in it. In our beef stroganoff, it makes it even super creamier. Love it with, of course, our tacos and our enchiladas. Another thing I always keep on hand is lemon juice and lime juice. I also will put some lemon juice, or you can use vinegar to make buttermilk. I never have buttermilk on hand. Anytime a recipe calls for a cup of buttermilk, I will use a cup of normal milk, add some lemon juice in it, or you can use vinegar and it will create buttermilk for you. All right. So, of course, and I think with everybody, is having eggs on hand, right? We go through a ton of eggs. If you're new here, you should check out some of my grocery hauls. I love to buy the big, like 5 dozen boxes from like Walmart, Costco of eggs. We go through a lot. I use a lot in baking, and my family are huge egg eaters. We love eggs in the morning. We love breakfast for dinner. We've got to have lots of eggs, and we're super excited for this summer. We are actually going to be getting chickens, and I'm excited to have the fresh eggs on hand. So woohoo! We keep in our refrigerator and our freezer, and I'll be sharing with you butter. I store a ton of butter. Butter in my book is right there with milk, bread, eggs, ketchup, butter. So it freezes really well. I'll be sharing that with you in just a bit, but this will last a long time in your freezer. Let's talk about produce. What do I always like to have on hand? Green peppers. I have to have green peppers on hand. I might not always have the tricolor peppers, the red, the orange, the yellow, but I do like to keep them on hand. They're always in my meal rotation. We like chicken fajitas, sweet and sour chicken, sweet and sour meatballs. But as long as I have green peppers on hand, I'm a happy girl. I have a ton of recipes that call for green peppers. My meatloaf recipe I can make any day, anytime. I always have the ingredients for it, so I gotta have a green pepper. So I have to have the Trinity: celery, carrots, and onions. This way I can make any type of stew, soup, anything. We're ready to go. Also on hand, I have to have romaine lettuce. That way I can make any type of salad to serve with dinner, put in sandwiches for that crunch, and also be able to chop up for tacos. Tacos is that great emergency meal that fills bellies and tastes so good. So I gotta have some sort of lettuce or romaine on hand. So let's talk about cheeses. I definitely find it essential to have cheese on hand. 1 for snacking, 2 for lunches, and 3, of course, for dinners. My house will always have mozzarella cheese. Always. I'm Italian. I have to have mozzarella cheese. And of course, stored in my other refrigerator is ricotta cheese. So I use the ricotta cheese and mozzarella cheese in my Lazy Man lasagnas, lasagna stuffed shells, baked spaghetti, pizza. Have you ever had pizza with ricotta cheese on it? It's amazing. Now, if you don't keep ricotta, but you keep cottage cheese and mozzarella cheese, you can make a lasagna with that. I always have cheddar cheese, either in a bag or in a block form, but there's always cheddar in my home. This one is the Mexican style. So I always have the blend of the Mexican. This always goes great, of course, with tacos. If we don't have this, we always have the good old cheddar cheese. This was on sale for a really good price, so I don't always buy shredded cheese. One, it's cheaper to get it in a block form and then just shred it yourself. I love to buy these when they're on sale, toss them in the freezer, take them out when you need them. So this cheese freezes up beautifully. Now, if you do buy a block form of cheese, love this stuff. This is Monterey Jack. You can freeze your cheese, which is great. But if you just want to thaw it out and just slice it up later, it's gonna crumble on you. So freeze the cheese that you'll end up just shredding or crumbling anyway. But if you just want a nice sliced cheese, it won't come out as great. It will crumble on you. So I like to keep block cheese on hand. So when I see it on sale, I snag it and toss it in my freezer. So this is also a freezer essential for me. Parmesan cheese is also right there. If I don't have it, I'm okay, but I love to have Parmesan cheese in any form. That way I can make Alfredo, add it to a pasta dish, lasagnas, freezer meals, Parmesan crusted chicken in the oven or the slow cooker. So good. And cream cheese. I always have blocks of cream cheese either in the refrigerator or freezer. So I always keep cream cheese on hand for slow cooker meals or for baking. I could keep lots of bars in the freezer. I love to get these on sale during the holidays and I stock up. All right, lunch meat. Lunch meat of any kind is always going to be in my refrigerator. So we always have ham or a type of salami. We love charcuterie boards. We love making our own Lunchables. We'll put some ham and salami on a cracker, add some cheese and some fruit, and we are happy campers. I also will freeze this, especially if I'm buying in bulk. I will freeze one and have one in the refrigerator. And my last essential for the refrigerator is bacon. We love having on hand the pre-cooked bacon. Since we found this out a few years ago, it's been like our best friend. So that way, if I'm making my broccoli salad or if we're having breakfast or corn chowder and I don't want to fry up bacon and go through that process and just save some time, I love this pre-cooked stuff. It's so good. And if I need bacon bits, I could just crumble up some of these. I'm not a fan of bacon bits, so I'll never buy them. So doing it this way is perfect. So if we're craving a sandwich at night, you can make yourself a BLT. All right, I have a couple of freezers and I'm gonna share with you my top essentials for my freezer. Frozen meatballs. I gotta have frozen meatballs on hand for that occasional, you know, spaghetti meal dinner that you're doing. I like to keep the beef instead of the Italian. That way I can throw the beef in any recipe. Swedish meatballs, my sweet and sour meatball recipe. There's so many recipes you can make. Our meatball sliders. So I do keep the home style meatballs on hand in beef, not Italian. Lots of frozen cheese, like I said, freeze your cheese, it'll last a long time. Another thing I always have in the freezer is a bag of yeast. This is how I buy my yeast. And then when I open it, I stick it in a Ziploc bag and throw it in the freezer. Then when I open it, I throw it in a Ziploc bag and toss it in the freezer. I don't set any out to make breads or rolls or anything like that to thaw out. I just throw it in my mixer and it comes out great. Everything rises, so I don't need to thaw it out. So when I open up one of these, keep this in my freezer. This is essential. I always have an array of frozen vegetables, even frozen spinach. And I noticed over the last few years, I'm always keeping shrimp in the freezer to add to pasta dishes or shrimp tacos. This is a great protein. I like to keep my freezers stocked with chicken and ground beef. Now let's jump into both my pantries and I'll share with you my essentials. It's a live-in working pantry with kids coming in and getting food. I did not make it look perfect and pristine because honestly, this is life, right? When you have kids and family and people, human beings living in your home. Orzo. I love Orzo. I have boxes of this in my food storage room. We go through a lot of this. I like to make my rice pilaf with this. Also, we love it in our soups, especially our chicken noodle soup. I'm not a big noodle person in my chicken noodle, and so having the little Orzo is perfect. So I always have this on hand. And rice, you gotta have rice, right? I always have rice on hand. You could bulk up any meal with rice. All right, pancake mix. I like to get the Christie's, just add water. Then you, no matter where you are, camping, in the home, if you don't have milk, eggs, whatever, all you have to do is add water to this. You have pancakes, always have this on hand. Honey, you gotta have a lot of honey on hand. I use a ton of honey for baking my bread. So, and I can use sugar as well, but I love to go towards the honey. So I gotta make sure I have honey on hand. And I have tons of containers of honey. If your honey gets like this, just heat it up in the microwave or on the stove and boom, your honey looks like this again. So I try also to keep some frozen bread on hand, but I do make my own bread. That's why I have to have the staples of flour, sugar, oil, honey on hand. So I also like to have on hand flour tortillas. That way I can make enchiladas, burritos, breakfast burritos, quesadillas, all that here. Cornstarch. I definitely go through cornstarch. I have a lot of recipes that call for this. It's a great thickening agent. And of course, you gotta have your sugars, right? Your brown sugars, your regular sugar on hand at all times, right? I mean, I think that's pretty normal. Your flours, your sugars. Also, in my pantry, I have garlic and I have onions. I can't imagine not cooking without either of these. I go through a ton of onions and the garlic, but if I can't get to the garlic quick enough, you can freeze these. So later this week on my to-do list is to take this bag, half it, and I'm going to freeze the rest. What I do is I take You could shake up your garlic in a container or take the time to sit and peel them, which I have done, and I will just throw them in the freezer. That way I have garlic, cloves ready to go. I'm going to share with you my go-to pantry staples are these seasoning packets. So I do have taco seasoning in a big container. We'll go over my seasonings in just a minute. But a recipe, I just have one of these left. Always have fajita. You can make your own fajita seasonings. I've done that in the past, kept it in a container, but I love to have these on the go, especially when I want to make a slow cooker meal. If you want to make chicken fajitas in the slow cooker, you can do that, and I love having the seasoning ready to go. My all-time favorite seasoning that you could get in a box or the pouch is the Italian or Zesty Italian Good Seasonings, or the Walmart brand Italian salad dressing, the powder. So if I have this, a block of cream cheese, and some chicken in my freezer, and a can of cream of mushroom soup, I'm making slow cooker Italian chicken, and it is delicious. Put it over rice, put it over pasta, and the family is so happy. Also in here I have the buttermilk ranch dressing mix. This is for my Jana roast recipe. My friend Jana has a yummy roast. So you put a roast in your slow cooker and you mix together with a half cup of water a packet of the buttermilk seasoning, a brown gravy mix packet like these you could do, or you can use the au jus gravy. Oh, it is so good. The best roast, really is. So I have a lot of the ranch packets, a lot of the fajita packets, and a lot of the au jus season packets as well, because there's another roast recipe that we love that we throw this in. Oh, it's so good. I have a chili one for a certain recipe. And also on hand that I have stocked in my food storage room is the Lipton onion soup boxes. So I always have these on hand to season up any slow cooker recipe as well. And of course, peanut butters of any kind, almond, peanut butter I have on hand as well. And here are my go-to oils: olive oil, avocado oil, and canola oil. And I always keep on hand things like vinegar, rice vinegar, apple cider vinegar, and normal vinegar. So another necessity that I keep on hand is cream of mushroom soup. This is great with any slow cooker meal, oven dishes, green bean casseroles, all of that. We do eat this not on a regular basis, but it's great to have on hand. Now, if you want to see what's all in here in detail, I'll leave a link to cleaning out my food storage and organizing video. You'll see everything in here. But my go-to is pasta of any kind. I have lots of pasta. Oh my gosh, I have shells, I have lasagna noodles, I have penne. When you have pasta on hand, you can bulk up any dish. If you have chicken, shrimp, meatballs, ground beef, bacon, you can make a ton of meals with that. And I always try to keep a jar of spaghetti sauce on hand. Now when it comes to the tomatoes, I love to have the petite diced and crushed tomatoes on hand. I love making my own sauces, and I use them for a ton of our freezer meals. So having a canned tomato is a must in my pantry. Also, one of my huge top pantry essentials is chicken broth and beef broth. Now I have better than bouillon as well. I'm getting into the groove with this. But I also have the powder kind as well, in the beef and the chicken. So if I don't have any cans on hand, I have the powder. I gotta have pinto, and I have to have black bean. I also have kidney and Great Northern bean. With the beans, like I said, you could throw them in any slow cooker meal. I also have fresh beans on hand. I also love using normal beans. I have a bag of pinto beans here already open. I threw this into my pressure cooker with some onions and garlic and salt and cooked them for 35 minutes on high pressure, and then 10 minutes on slow release. Immerse those up with my immerser and threw some taco seasoning in there, some cheddar cheese, and we had yummy refried beans with our chicken enchiladas last night. So I will always have on hand a can, and I could do the same thing with the can, but it's so nice to have the dried beans on hand as well. Oh, and you could throw beans in any soup or stew and it bulks it up. Another essential I like to keep on hand is potatoes. I also have in my other pantry my sweet potatoes. Add this to soups, stews, fry it up on the stove, make some home fries, a baked potato night. This will definitely fill your belly. I love spices. Can you tell? All right, it's hard to choose my essentials because I love them all, but if I have these in my cabinet, I am super happy. So Lori, seasoned salt or any seasoned salt will do. The brown gravy mix that I was talking about, I gotta have for my roasts. Italian seasonings. If I don't have basil and if I don't have parsley or oregano, if I got a good Italian seasoning, I'm good to go. Garlic salt, chili powder, ranch seasoning mix, garlic powder, red pepper flakes, and paprika. But I definitely have my major favorites in that cabinet. But these are definitely the essentials I need to have in my home. The other essentials are tarragon, herbs de Provence, and whole thyme. So I went onto Instagram and asked you guys, what are your go-to pantry, freezer, fridge essentials? And this is what you had to say. Ketchup, green beans, milk and eggs, veggies, canned and frozen flour, yeast, butter, pasta sauce, chicken, ground beef, veggies, peanut butter, cereals, spices, baking supplies, and fruit. Salt, butter, milk, bread. In the freezer, frozen vegetables, frozen meat, pies, bread, butter. In the fridge, mustard, tomato sauce, and butter. In the pantry, this gal needs flour, baking soda, baking powder, spreads, pasta sauce. This gal needs her gluten-free items. So her gluten-free flours, homemade vegetable stock, lactose-free milk, eggs, butter, vegan, and produce. Okay, this gal is cool. She needs rotel, pasta, and pickles. Cold brew coffee. I can't face anything if I don't have my coffee. That's awesome. All right, this gal Sandy, pantry, flour and eggs, freezer, fruits, veggies, butter. In the fridge, yogurts and cream. Okay, then we have pastas, block cheeses, and pasta sauce. Chicken, ground beef, eggs, cheese, deli meat, frozen fresh vegetables, low sugar treats, garlic and onions, chocolate chips, and all baking supplies. Frozen bananas, yogurt, eggs, and pantry is always tomato products. I hear you, you gotta have those. Tomato cans, beans in a can, and rice. Pasta, pesto, meatballs, chicken, and nuggets. Yes, I will have to agree on the pesto. I always have a jar of pesto on my shelf, and when I hit Costco, I like to get their pesto as well. Flour, sugar, yeast, pasta, rice, potatoes, eggs, milk, butter, cheese, ground beef, and chicken. All right, another gal said beans, rice, flour, sugar, frozen vegetables, eggs, and milk. And then we have milk, eggs, bread, bacon, and cheese. I like that. Frozen fruits and veggies, pasta and potatoes, beans, spinach, apples, cheese, eggs, pasta, heavy cream, onions, and frozen vegetables. Plenty of meat in the freezer, eggs and butter in the fridge. Those three things will sustain you. I totally agree with you. All right, ground beef, steamed veggie bags, dark chocolate stash. Yes, there are stashes in my pantry hidden and in my freezer. I saw this really cool trick that I must have seen it on TikTok. All the cool stuff's on TikTok. This lady cut open like a bag of like broccoli, and then she put all her candy in there and put a clip on it. The kids aren't gonna go for a bag of broccoli. I thought that was genius. Oh, in the fridge, sour cream. My kids freak out if we are out of it. That is so cool. Some of my boys are not fans of sour cream. Cheese, sour cream, pasta sauce, canned vegetables, eggs, butter, milk, and meat. All right, this lady says oats, flour, sugar, sour cream, cream cheese, butter, block cheeses, salsa, tortillas, pasta, sauce, and frozen vegetables. Oh, lady after my own heart. Eggs, pecorino romano cheese. Oh yeah, it's in this drawer right here. It's coveted. Love it. That is home to me. Like when I smell it, when I taste it, oh, it brings me back as a kid with my grandmother. I love it. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. I love to see what your essentials are. That was a lot of fun. All right, friends, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Join the family. I love to just share what I'm cooking and storing and help give you tips to make meal planning or your food storage a whole lot easier. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me. And if you want to add to any of your pantry, freezer, refrigerator essentials, please leave them down below. All right, friends, have a great rest of your week, and we will see you soon. Bye.